Here is the thing. Life tries to communicate with you and remind you who you truly are constantly. But the problem is you are too distracted. You're not present, you're living autopilot, and you don't pay attention. You don't usually go deeper into yourself. You don't reflect deeply into the experiences you have, the people that you meet, the situation you are in. You don't spend time on your own trying to make sense of things. That's a problem. Because let me tell you this, throughout my life up until now, I was able to identify 3 ways on how life tries to remind you who you truly are. And today I want to talk about this because it's essential. It can open your eyes, it can let you see life through a different lens and connect your dots. Finally, one way on how life's trying to remind you who you are is through connections. Now, when I talk about connections, I don't mean any connections. I mean deep soul connections. Those type of connections that are not necessarily romantic, okay? It could be a friend, it could be someone that you meet suddenly, a colleague, a teacher, anyone that you meet during your life journey that feels totally different. And you know when someone comes into your life that it feels completely different. You might not know why, you might not know what it is, but you know something deeper is going on here. What happened through this connection usually it's you are meant to transform through those connections. In fact, in my entire life, I tend to transform through deep soul connections. I grow and I expand. Why? Because usually these people let you see something in yourself that you never saw before. These people open up something within you that you have no idea. These people unconsciously, secretly, I don't know how to say it, but shows you who you truly are. Saw something in you. They let you see something in you that you never saw before. They remind you about something. They direct you, even unconsciously, toward a particular path. How? It depends. Sometimes in some deep conversations, sometimes in question they ask, sometimes I don't know, just having experiences together that will make you reflect and feel there is something here much different through other connections. That's happened to me multiple times in my entire life. In my early age, when I was in elementary school, it happened with later in life with a teacher that I have. In high school, it happened to me with few more people I met during my life journey that completely changed the direction of my life. They brought me back to who I really was. Now, it might not happen straight away. In fact, it will not. It's something that you will understand with time. When you start connecting the dots, when you start getting these memories, when you start looking backwards and see, and you will make sense. So it's not something that you connect straight away probably, but with time. So one thing that I truly realize is we are meant to connect with each other. Can you imagine a life without human beings, without friends, without people? Right? People are life. And so many people right now feel isolated, don't want to connect anymore. Now, from one side, we tend to isolate ourselves because we are going through a certain type of transformation. And I was isolating for many years because I needed to go deeper into myself. I needed to understand what was going on within myself. And that period of time let me become who I am today and completely changed the direction of my life. However, Don't mistaken this short period of time with I don't want to hang out with people anymore, people don't understand me, and blah, 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 blah. You are meant to connect with people. You are meant to grow with people. You are meant to transform yourself with people. So understanding that whatever connection comes into your life has a meaning, has a purpose. Nothing is wasted. Everything is happening how it's supposed to be. So I dare you to start seeing connections in a different way and start to feel more rather than being an autopilot and don't pay attention to things. So one way on how life trying to remind you who you truly are is through deep connections. Number two, second way is when your life, and this happened to me as well, fall apart completely. Many people think that when our life is falling apart, it's the worst thing that is happening to us. We become a victim of this. Life is against us. You don't understand why it's happening. You see yourself as a failure. You see yourself, I worked so hard, but now look where I am, and so on and so on. And that's what I thought 6 years ago, because it's obvious that you start to think in this way when it happens. But then you realize something much deeper, that whatever was falling apart was actually redirecting you to your truth. So nothing falls apart that is meant for you. If it's meant for you, it won't fall apart. My life 6 years ago fall apart completely. Every single aspect, all at once in just a few months, very quickly. And I was completely exhausted, disconnected, lost. I didn't know what was happening. Today, I know everything. Today, I can make sense of everything that happened and why it needed to happen. And it happened at the right time, perfect timing. But usually, why I'm telling this? Because probably it happens to everybody. At some point in life, if your life is falling apart, maybe you're losing your job, maybe your connection are fading, maybe your bank account it's almost zero, maybe you have to go back to your country, maybe whatever it is, whatever is happening to you right now, it happens for a reason. So we need to start asking ourselves deep questions instead of thinking why life is against me, why this always happens to me, and become a victim, because that's what we do. We tend to be a victim of what happened to us instead of responding, instead of trying to understand that maybe this is happening for a reason. Maybe I wasn't truly happy on where my life was going. Maybe I needed my life to crumble and I wasn't able to say no to that because maybe it was too scary. So maybe life helped you actually to let everything fall apart so you can rebuild your life from zero, but this time from truth instead of ego, instead of a false identity. So you now have the possibility to rebuild your true life from scratch. How great is that? Even because if you needed to say no, you probably couldn't. We are too habitual. We stay even when things are not in our favor. We stay because it feels familiar. And so most of the time, it's not easy to completely change everything. We stay stuck there in the struggle, in the survival, because it's familiar, right? So you probably wouldn't be able to say no. That's where life comes. You say, haha, all right, you're not doing this, I'm gonna do that. how blessed you are. Not probably in the moment, because I spent one of the worst time of my life for the way I was feeling, because I didn't know what was happening to me, right? But with time, today, what I think that was the worst time of my life, it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I rebuilt my life from who I truly am. I had the possibility to go deeper into myself, to ask myself deeper questions, to get honest with myself, to get vulnerable, to open up my heart and rebuild everything from scratch. So if your life is falling apart, it's not because life is against you, it's actually helping you to redirect you, to remind you who you truly are. Number 3, the third way that could be very related to the second one is feeling lost. How many of you right now feels lost, right? Maybe if you're watching this video, there is something within you that doesn't feel right. Otherwise, you will never click to this video, right? Feeling lost is not a failure. Feeling lost, it's not an uncommon, scary thing. Feeling lost is finally your true self, your soul, your heart calling whatever you want it, trying to waking up something within you. Feeling lost is finally you awakening, questioning, seeing things from a different perspective, opening up new doors. Because think about this, when you feel lost, it's because you started to have deeper questions. You started to pause a little and start to see the reality of things. That's why we get lost. When you start to say, I don't know who I am anymore. What am I doing with my life? This doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel this doesn't feel right. You're starting to finally pause and see the truth. That's how things in your life will change. When you don't question, when you don't have this feeling, it's not because everything is going right. It's because you're not giving yourself the possibility to reflect, to see the truth, to get honest with yourself, with your heart. Because most of people right now, the 98% of the population, if not 99, is living in a lie, is living a life that is not theirs. They are living from a false identity because we inherit beliefs since we were a child that shaped our identity. That's why we end up at 40, 30, whatever, 60 as well, feeling lost, exhausted, because we realize that we are living a life, we have built a life that is not in alignment with who we truly are. So feeling lost, it's a great starting point. It's the awakening moment. You are becoming aware that something isn't right, and it's the first step to start changing it. You cannot change your life if you don't become aware that something isn't right. You cannot change your relationship if you don't stop and start questioning and start to become aware that your relationship is actually toxic. Can you change it if you don't become aware of it? Not. Can you change the way you live if you don't become aware that the way you're living is actually destroying you? And so on. So awareness is the first step. And feeling lost is a sign of you becoming aware. So when all these things happen to you, instead of victimize yourself, instead of thinking life is against you and you don't know what's happening, yes, you don't know what's happening. Go deeper into yourself. Get curious. Ask deeper questions. Reflect on your own. Spend some time in hermit mode. You need this time with yourself. I hope this video was helpful, and those are purely my own experiences, something that I've been realizing for this entire time. And I'm pretty sure it will help you see things from a different perspective and start to realize that there is nothing wrong with you. It's just a normal process of expanding, growing, becoming someone true, becoming someone new, remembering who you truly are. It's the process that every single human being should go, must go, and go through. So if you're there, congratulations. I hope this video was helpful, and see you in the next one. Bye.